What's up guys, this is OddsAre here, and I'm bringing you guys my week 6 match of the APA Academy, and this week we are facing off versus Tony, one of my friends, the Buffalo Drills. Honestly, one of my favorite logos by far, and let's just jump right on into the matchup and the team I ended up bringing. So right now you should be seeing my team on screen now, and you'll also see his team list on the side, either to the left or the right, whatever I decide to do. First off, let's talk about the team. He brings Lugia, Ashgren, or not brings, he has Lugia, Ashgren, Mega Charizard X, Florges, Milotic, Snorlax, Hitmontop, Registeel, Rotom, Rhydon, Gourgeist, and Azelf, which honestly he has a really bulky team and it kind of scares me. So let's just jump right on into my team building and we can talk about the match once we're done with that. First off, I do end up starting off with Lucario with Mirror Match, Close Combat, Vacuum Wave, and Swords Dance. I kind of wish I would have went for Bolt Punch instead of Vacuum Wave. Would have actually helped a lot during this game, but I ended up choosing Vacuum Wave for the Greninja, but I had a full Toxapex, so I was able to completely deal with Greninja no matter what. But this is a pretty standard set. I was having Mega Lucario speed creep, Charizard X speed creeping PZ at base 80 in case you wanted to go that route, because my speed tiers are kind of whack. You're not really wanting to fully outspeed a Comfey, but other than that, or a speed tie with a Comfey, it doesn't really matter. I can't do anything to Comfey, or Comfey can't do anything to Charizard X, so I thought that was a pretty safe a pretty safe speed creep, so that's why I did that. Also, one of the extra damage with being adamant. After that, I do have Thundurus with the Fight EMZ, with Defiant, Thunderbolt, Sludge Wave, Focus Blast, and Volt Switch. Max special attack and enough speed to outspeed that PZ once again. Basically, not really fearing the timid Zygarde, or timid Charizard X, sorry, or anything else, because I don't expect Lugia to be offensive. He hasn't really brought offensive Lugia in any of his games, so I don't expect this to change. And yeah, that's pretty much it with that. After that, we have Toxic with Recover, Toxic, Scald, and Gunk Shot. I was Toxic. I almost did T-Spikes, but I was Toxic mainly for the Florges in case of defog, stuff like that. And he does have quite a few levitators before Mega Evolving. Like, Yoxi has Levitate, Lugia has Levitate, Charizard before Mega Evolving has Levitate, and he has a pretty decent Rapid Spinner with Hitmontop. I don't necessarily see that coming, but just in case, I can't really risk that. But Toxapex is here to mainly check the Greninja. I can take 3 Dark Pulses and still be able to recover up. In case he does get a single flinch, I will be able to recover back off the damage. It's a 3-hit KO, and it's, I think it's a 4-hit KO. Yeah, it's a 4-hit KO. Sorry about that. Basically, I can take 3 Dark Pulses in case one of them is a flinch. I can be able to recover back off the damage. After that, we do have Goodra with Thunderbolt, a Sludge Wave, Dragon Tail, and Draco Meteor with the Hiban Berry. Basically, this is my Charizard X lure type of thing. Basically, if Charizard X and Goodra are in at the same time, I can eat any +1 hit, and if he's not at +1, I can actually take a little bit of chip on Goodra and be able to actually kill it back with Draco Meteor. Also have Dragon Tail in case he tries to set up with something, maybe a Calm Mindset with either Lugia or Azelf, something like that. I can definitely be able to Dragon Tail those right out of the way. Other than that, the Goodra set is pretty standard. Thunderbolt just to hit Milotic, Sludge Wave to hit Florges, so on and so forth. And after that, we do have the Deoxys Speed with Psychic, Stealth Rock's Taunt, and Toxic. I have Taunt and Toxic. Wait, is that right? I think I changed Taunt to something else. I don't necessarily remember what. I know I have Psychic and Stealth Rocks. I do believe I changed Taunt to something else, maybe Knockoff or something along those lines, but I did end up switching that move. I do remember that. And finally, we do have the Crawdaunt with the Lumberry with Dragon Dance, Knockoff, Crab Hammer, and Aqua Jet. I was max attack and max speed Jolly. There was a reason for that. I think it was to outspeed something at +1. I don't remember exactly what that was. It must have been the Greninja. Maybe Mana's Greninja I was able to outspeed at +1. It was along those lines. It was something at +1 I was able to outspeed. Don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, let's just jump right on into this battle. I do end up leading off with Thundy, and he will lead off with Azelf. I thought this was a pretty safe play since he didn't bring his ground type, which he doesn't actually have a ground type. So Volt Switch was always free on his team, so that's why I ended up bringing it and leading it off. If this Azelf was Z-move, I might have died, but I didn't really have a switch-in too great to it, but he does just reveal the U-turn, and I will end up just Volt Switching off on his U-turn. On this Florges, this actually does kind of matter here. This Volt Switch damage is actually pretty crucial. This crit right here actually brings him in range of an Adamant Meteor Mash through the Steel Berry. So if he is Steel Berry, and if I do land the Meteor Mash, this Florges is dead, guaranteed no matter what. This thing does die. I do kill it because of the crit. It would be a very close roll if it wasn't, but we don't get to find out because I do end up missing the Meteor Mash, and we kind of lose half of our HP on Mega Lucario, which is actually really crucial. I could have had that for Azelf or something else, but we do end up just missing that Meteor Mash. He does switch. He does go for a Protect, then switch out that next turn. I do end up just clicking for a Meteor Mash once again. He does go out into Lugia here. I am forced out here, but that is actually really good damage, and we can tell from that he isn't very physically bulky. With that being said, I am forced to switch out here. I don't do it KO, or I don't OHKO him, and if he goes for some type of like Aero Blast or something, I am in a very big trouble. I do go out into Thundy here on the double. I think on the double of him. I'm not sure if he actually clicked a move. He does switch right back out into Kanye West, which is the Registeel. So I'm able to easily Volt Switch here. I didn't really care to predict anything. I guess he could have U-turned, but I'm wondering why he didn't U-turn. It doesn't really matter. I do go out into Mega Lucario here. This is a free close combat if I choose to do it, but I end up going for a SD, which he does end up switching out here. And I'm at +2. This Lugia, even at max defense, should not live. I think it's a roll if he's max defense. I have pretty much no choice but to click the move. I'm already set up here, and if he's max defense bold, he's max defense bold, and I just get damage off on this Lugia. But I end up missing this Meteor Mash. I missed 2 Meteor Mashes already, which is incredibly crucial. He does end up just bringing me out into Goodra. I believe I just freely T-Bolt here. I don't think I have any reason not to. And he goes out into Kanye West, which is the Registeel. And I do just go for Thunderbolt, like I said. That does a decent chunk, and he's actually in range of a Z Focus Blast from Thundurus, which is actually very crucial here. I do end up switching out into Thundy here. As I said, if I did kill the Florges here, I would not have to predict this turn. I was predicting the Florges to come in this turn as he was clicking Seismic Toss the previous turn. This turn right here, I did predict the Florges. I will end up going for Sludge Wave. If the Florges was already dead from the not missing the Meteor Mash, I would have been in such a better position. I would have just clicked Z Focus Blast and not even cared. Also, this turn, I actually meant to click Z Focus Blast. I misclicked, and I didn't click the Z move in time. I was a little frustrated from missing both of the Meteor Mashes, which were both pretty crucial. Like they both killed Mons. Like both of his not threats. Like the Florges was dead, and the Lugia, which should have been dead. Both of them would have died to Meteor Mash, which is kind of unfortunate. Anyways, I do miss a Focus Blast the previous turn, and I will end up going for Z all-out pummeling, which is Z Focus Blast, into this Registeel, and it lives on a sliver. Basically, if I didn't either miss the first Focus Blast, or if I didn't, or if I just went for Z Focus Blast without misclicking, that was the main thing I was going to do. I was going to click Z Focus Blast, but I just misclicked, and that was my fault. This Registeel would have still been dead, and I would have still had a Thundy that was still around and living. But sadly, I don't have that, and I am forced to kill this Registeel or go for close combat. I think I actually go for Meteor Mash this turn, actually, because it's a 2-hit KO on Lugia. Which I do go for. I actually land this Meteor Mash, surprisingly, and this does show a 2-hit KO, and he will end up being forced to sack this Lugia to Meteor Mash. I'm actually kind of surprised he wouldn't just go out into either Registeel or something else to either sack or take the hit, because I thought Lugia was kind of important to this match. Other than that, I am forced to switch out here on the Charizard, and I will end up going Goodra. Basically, if he D-dances, I live. If he Earthquakes into a Dragon Claw, I live. So both are great options, and I will end up just going for the Draco. I'm pretty much forced to Draco here, and he will go out into Ariana Grande. Like I said earlier, this thing would have been dead. I wouldn't have to predict, but I should have predicted, and I paid the price because I did predict. But I do have an easy switch into Toxapex, and pretty much anything Florges wants to do, it doesn't really matter. At this point, I am pretty free just to click Toxic or Gunk Shot. I do believe I clicked the Toxic, I think I clicked the Toxic here. He does go out into Cardi B, which is the Mesprit, and I will end up just clicking Toxic this turn on the Mesprit. So, with that being said, this thing is toxic, which is great, right? This thing is a huge annoyance to my team. I don't really have a super great switch in. I can go into Goodra, but I need that for Charizard. I want to be able to have enough damage, and I decided to just see how much damage the Psychic will do, predict a little bit, and get a recover off. And honestly, that special defense drop kind of hurt me a little bit. I would have been able to stall maybe another turn or two, depending on rolls, and like weaken it down just a little bit more with Toxic. But with that special defense drop, I was forced to switch out, and I made a really, really terrible play here. I went out into Cronont thinking it was a Specs, or mainly a Spec set. I miscalced, and realized afterwards I was only calcing Modest and not Specs. So and honestly, I still don't know what the exact set is. I think it was Modest, but I'm not exactly sure. I miscalculated that really badly. I do go out into Cronont, D-dance on the Melodic, and he does end up killing me with Hidden Power Electric, if I'm not mistaken. He does go out into, or I do go out into Deoxys. I want to get my rocks up because he has his rocks up, and Charizard has not Mega Evolved yet, so this is a pretty free Stealth Rock, and whenever Charizard does come in, it will be taking 50% from rocks. He does go out into, or he does go for the Scald on my Deoxys, and I end up clicking Toxic on the Milotic. I don't have too much to actually hit it normally, and I think the Toxic is actually pretty valid. He does go for another Scald here, and I should live on a sliver here, and yes, I do get the burn, which is kind of unfortunate, but I do end up living anyways, which it's fine. I would die to die that next turn anyways to whatever move the Milotic goes. I go for Psychic here, and he actually ends up killing me with Scald. I thought it was kind of unusual that he didn't just recover back the damage, but it didn't really matter. The Deoxys still goes down regardless, and the Milotic does get a little bit more HP. Also, maybe he thought I might recover or something, but since I outspeed the Milotic anyways, I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I do go out into Toxapex, and this turn I will end up clicking Gunk Shot. He does end up switching out into Ariana Grande, and I will end up killing it with Gunk Shot. This is actually a really, really great play. I was kind of expecting this, and I was kind of just wanting a lot of damage on Milotic. He was getting a lot of chip from Toxic, and Gunk Shot was the strongest move I had anyways, so I thought it was just fitting to click it anyways, which was great. He does go out into Charizard here, and I do have a chance to live Earthquake. Like, Earthquake's not doing a whole lot to me, and I don't necessarily need a whole lot of HP on Toxapex. I just want to get a Toxic off in case he D-dances or something along those lines. He does reveal the Swords Dance, which was actually very, very scary. I do get the Toxic off, which is really, really nice, and I am pretty much forced to sack him on at this point. Nothing wants to take this move, and I do need Toxapex later on for the rest of his team, because Toxapex can just kind of sit in front of his team, except for Azelf, but if I weaken that down enough, it won't matter. With that being said, I do go out into Goodra, and I will end up sacking Goodra while he does end up clicking Earthquake. This Goodra is not going to live this +2 hit, so the Goodra will end up going down here, which is perfectly fine. I still have a clear win con in the game, and I'm not super afraid of this Charizard. Basically, I do go out in here. I am... if he is timid Charizard, he might just win here, but since he's not, I do outspeed and close combat. He is most likely a more bulkier Charizard, which he was. He had quite a bit of HP investment and an actual adamant nature, so I did outspeed that regardless every single time. He does go out into Azelf here, and if I didn't have the damage off on Lucario from turn 2 or 3, whenever I missed the steel move, I would have been able to possibly live the psychic and been able to kill it with either something else, but instead I am forced to click Vacuum Wave and do a little bit more damage to this Azelf. And basically Toxapex can 1v1 everything if I just would have clicked Gunk Shot this turn, because I would have been able to recover off on the Milotic or the Registeel. Either one I would have been able to recover off of, and for 2 I would have ended up killing this Mesprit, but I did make a pretty bad misplay by clicking recover. I was wanting to stall this thing out instead of clicking Gunk Shot. That was my mistake. I did end up clicking Scald that turn because of the toxic damage. I would have ended up killing Mesprit that next turn. After this, I'm in a very, very bad position. Anything Milotic goes for, I should die, and then I should be in range of a seismic toss on a Registeel. Actually, with this, I do actually live the HP Electric from the Milotic, and I do end up killing with Gunk Shot. I thought this was a... Maybe this was a 2-0. Yeah, oh, okay, my bad. This was a 2-0. I thought I lost 1-0. Anyways, this is the end of the game for me here. If I would have just clicked Gunk Shot, the taunt would have wore off this turn, and I would have been a little bit more healthier as well. Also, that special defense drop really did kind of hurt, but he would have played it a little bit differently. I don't know why he still didn't go out into Registeel and then into Milotic, maybe to save differential. Maybe that's what he was planning. But anyways, that is the game versus Shady. I did have some pretty major hacks that game by missing 2 Meteor Mashes and then a Focus Blast, which was a misplay on my part. If I would have just clicked Z Focus Blast the very first turn that Thundurus came in, that would not have actually mattered. And also, like I said, the Meteor Mashes really did hurt because I wanted to predict, and I was over predicting his moves, which that was... It happens. Like, I'm not blaming Shady for his moves or anything like that. Just I was in a position where I thought I was forced to make a prediction, and I didn't. And then whenever I didn't make the prediction, he got it right. So honestly, it is what it is. Moves miss. What can you do? But we do end up losing 2-0. And also, I'm not trying to harp on this. I did make a pretty big misplay by not clicking Gunk Shot on the taunt of Azelf, because I would have been in a pretty good HP range where a seismic toss into a couple HP electrics would not kill me, and I would eventually been able to roost off the damage, or recover off the damage with Toxapex, and eventually been able to stall out the Milotic because it was already toxic, and if it wasn't, I could have always just toxic it anyways. So with that being said, great game to you, Shady. You played well. I played all right. I think I definitely had a shot to win that, but it is what it is. Hacks do play a part in games, and I cannot be mad. Great game to you, man, and hopefully we can pull out a win next week whenever we face off versus Zombie. I'm sorry, I completely forgot my person I faced. Yes, Zombie. I did end up facing the Victorian Victinis next week, and we'll see how that game goes. I can't wait. He has a very scary team with Mewtwo X. He has one of the Mewtwo's. I'm pretty sure it's Mewtwo X, and it is pretty. No. I'm sorry. He has a Marshadow, and it's really, really scary to my team. I don't have a really great switching into it, and he has a phenomenal matchup versus me. So let's hope we do pull out a win there and get our team a win. Anyways, hope you guys do enjoy once again, and I'll see you guys next week when we face off versus Zombie. Later, guys.